Yes, come in. Welcome to Aphile Communications. Welcome to Aphile Communications. We're right on time and we're about to start. 16, 20, I'm just counting. Once we've got a decent number, then we'll get going. We are right on time. Very, very punctual. Greetings to Magit Dweba and Yakbona. Tandomabi Zisake, welcome home. The home of Aphile Communications. Our guest is already here. Thank you for joining us. Soulman, I've noted you. Sikiwe, I've noted you. Come in. Thank you for joining us. Madulin, I've noted you. I think once we hit 100, we'll be starting. Otherwise, a lot of people will join. I think this thing is very quickly. Kwelesha, welcome. This is Aphile Communications. Thank you for joining us this lovely afternoon. We've got a very nice 45 minutes to spend with you. With Wethu. Lebakeng, welcome. Atinkosi Plati, welcome to Aphile Communications. Thank you for joining us. Mzukulwana Ndignotile. Jacqueline, I've noted also. Siziba, I've noted you. Welcome to Aphile Communications. Magada, thank you for joining us. Siziba, thank you for joining us. We'll be starting in the next 3 seconds. We've got everyone in. Machelele, I've noted you. Pepelani, thank you for joining us. We've hit 100 and the rest of the people will get us on the way. I think the last time being, we've got a hunk on the show, so everyone is joining us. Lux, welcome to Aphile Communications. Thank you for finally acceding to our invite. Can you viewers?
I mean, first of all, thanks a lot, Doc, and Ablela Kakulu with this opportunity, all the way from Cairo. And congratulations to yourself, by the way. You know what you've done to diversify yourself and to not to be a single thing. You know, I think it's a big lesson for people because often the Vabandu will say, I studied for this and therefore I can't do anything. So congratulations to you. I watch.
Thank you so much. Those are very encouraging words, especially from someone in Cairo. Ejiphethe. Babukeleyo, sino Luxolo September. Luxolo September is joining us all the way from Cairo, the capital town of Egypt. We are very blessed this afternoon. Aphile Communications and Usign of the Soil. Unyana wethu, ambassador yethu, sizava lukhulu kuye. We are very blessed and honored to have him around. And thank you for actually endorsing and following Aphile Communications, be it on radio, be it on YouTube, be it on Facebook. I appreciate your feedback and special messages. Hence, I've always been gunning for you to actually have you on a sit-down session to know everything behind this guy. Handsome guy, by the way. Let me not waste time. There are a lot of people who are asking you questions also. Let me hit the road running. Lux ngubani, ngowaphi, and so on. Can you just tell us a bit about yourself before we go to the giant in you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I first of all, I mean, I hardly do any of these things, you know. And a lot of people ask me to do that, and I over the years I've resisted the temptation really to do this. I must say that I was dragged here against my will. You know?
I shoved you in. I can't unveil. I've long been after you.
No. But I mean, look, I think the whole, it's always difficult to answer what people ask for Unguban. I can always give the facts that I was born in the former Transkei, Eastern Cape as Lali. So I now believe that Aban Baset someone as Ngama could claim me equally. So I never know whether to say was someone was Ngama, but I'm in between there. Ilali am Gumda or between these two towns. So 100%, and my great-grandmother, who played a huge role in bringing me up, is from Etsomo. So Edikailam Etsomo as well. So these people claim me equally. And I sometimes give them the, I guess I was in Namako, I've got more of a claim because my father is from there. You know, I grew up as, I mean, I'm from Eslalini, rural boy, thoroughly. And now,
did you do everything that young do? Ukolusa, udada, and so on.
That's on Nayana. You know, I think every time, I mean, I was lucky because I think I'm a beneficiary of many worlds. You know, first of all, I've got to paint you a picture of growing up between my grandmother's house, my great-grandmother's house. My great-grandmother never went to school, but at her home, at home, there was a library. She built a library in her house. So we were not allowed to go, I mean, my great-grandmother's house to go play football or play in the streets or see your data. It was a punishable offense. Now, this growing, I mean, this side of my great-grandmother, education was a priority. No playing. Now I go to my father's side, which is in Namako, my grandfather who also brought me up. My grandfather, you know, entrepreneur, school principal. So when I'm at my other home, I'm working from a young age. So I never played growing up. So I never did a lot of things around.
Babesolisa kabantu abantwana baseveni babethanda banebhola babe nebhayisekile and umntana aseveni bakafakwanga esikimini hayi ibhola uyithatha ibambele ezandleni.
So I think growing up in all these things and going to East London at a very young age to study Monty, but when I was growing up, I never really, I can't claim, you know, I did this and I did that. Obviously, whenever I go back, my uncle, my late uncle used to make sure that, you know, and stuff like that. But to play with other kids and be out of the streets, your dad and all those things, as a result, I think I learned to that in my school, not as Lalini and so on. So I was lucky because I had to learn the proper thing, you know. And yes, but I think also my life has benefited from these stark contrasts of the poverty side, side of my great-grandmother's house, but structure of education, a library. I mean, they had the only library was at my great-grandmother's house. Now I don't know what made a woman who never went to school to invest in shells.
My man, before uko comment apa ka Slali uthe andabantwana basevengileni xa ityiwa iteam yabo babe bacima igenerator. Ibhola bayithatha uba bafakwa esikimini uba ityiwa igenerator yacima.
No, I can't pick a team without you. So.
Wakhuliswa kakhulu notamkhulu engqamakho etsomo. Let's give credit to both. So primary school uyenzephi?
So I mean, I went to school. As I said, I was very lucky. You know, starting early in the Transkei, but also being exposed very early. You know, growing up in the Transkei, rather being exposed to East London, going to schools in East London. So environment and my world, dog, had all these sharp contradictions. Poverty, raised by an entrepreneur, going to a decent school. Because I look at people who are my age that grew up with me as Lalin, you know, it's not because I've been smarter than them or better than them. I've just been afforded better opportunities in life. And some of them are probably sharper than me in school and everything else. But they benefited from all these environments whereby I can't claim that I've been better. But what has happened is that fate, or God, has conspired and gave me all these contradictions to understand. When someone says poverty, I must understand. When somebody says education, I understand. When someone says entrepreneurship, I understand. So that's what happened in my early years of my life. I mean, a great deal of exposure for me happened and when I met people studying there very early in my life. So whenever we are Lali and go with the chapter from the Monty, you know, you can imagine when you come back, You're even better to them because you're from East London, you know.
You are a little bit of high class. Your parents are still alive, I believe.
So I mean, my parents are alive, but you know, I always say to people, I'm a typical kid raised by a community. My biological parents, my many other parents who are around. I mean, when I was growing up, you know, you can imagine. I mean, my father was, you know, still is an entrepreneur. So how many times you see your dad? But the only time, you know, we would talk and clash on the phone is when there was no cell phone, but I do, you know, I was at school and you've got to use I don't know that you still have those public phones and so forth.
Yeah.
So I think in those 10 years, me and my father had our longest conversations on the phone when we were arguing about the money I need for my boarding school and whatever it is. But I think it was my grandparents, my great-grandparents and my grandparents that played all this role, and a very, very, very solid role. I mean, all of them are late now. I mean, both of them are late, and these are the people who really laid a very solid foundation and ensured that other families that carried on. I mean, when I went to East London, I mean, there was the family of Merriweathers, Verona Ledeen, Mr. Malgas. These are the people who are really my parents. I mean, Verona calls me all the time, you know, and she's my mother, and I have to report every time, you know. You know, one of the things that actually helped me in life when I started working, she insisted that every 6 months I must come and show her my bank statements. What am I doing with my money? This helped me buy a house at a very age.
And unomandla uthi sicela uthethe isiXhosa.
Call. Ndisekhayro man.
Sekhayro ndiyabandathena, but ke ngoku abantu bafuna ukuva abantu baseNgqamakhwe bazobona into yoba there's a boy from Ngqamakhwe who's actually now working from Cairo. So just try to mix it so that we are able to reach all of them. I-primary
isiqhelo so yisingqondo doc. Into ebendivame uyibeka across wena doc into yokubana zonke ezi zinto ezenzeke eli ebomini bam zizo ezindinike endiqonda ukubana zindinike i-advantage in a way. Into yokubana ndibe lapha namhlanje, kodwa ke baninzi abantu kule ndlela endiyihambileyo kuba I mean ndiye ndicinge yona doc high school, you know, high school I went to pilots and ndifunda phaa ndifundiswa and then adibana phaa notishala who probably changed my life. Lo mntu, if there is a person who one day has to talk about mna and le nto kuthiwa xa udibene nomntu a male role model, ibhilive kuwe, ikholelwe kuwe. Mr. Malgas, xa ndidibana Mr. Malgas many years ago, wabona i-potential kum, and somehow one backage 100%. And laa nto yo-afima, that's why mna nawe doc sine-responsibility eninzi kakhulu kwii-community zethu kuba xa sibona abafana abanetalente abanepotential sibenzele exactly the same thing uMr. Malgas wayenza kum yokubana andi-afeme early and andinike opportunities. You know, mna benina 13 years old ndilawula ileague yasesikolweni sam, and leagues around then. I was 13 and these guys were 21 and whatever it is, at 22, 23, you know? Yet in Dimopete, you know?
Hayibo. So yenzile watshala into Mr. Malgas kuwe kakhulu.
You know, i-administration abantu bandibona mhlawumbi ndise-CAF ngoku bacinga fana ubana yinto eyayizolo kum. Ndiqale ukuba ngunobhala we-league ndina 13 years old. Ndingunobhala we-leagues. Ndiqokelela i-results, ndibhala i-constitution, ndibhala I'm telling you, and this is the truth, abantu abanye nami esikolweni will attest to this. You know, there's a guy, I think ngoku Supreme Court, Umenez Gazama is a lawyer now. You know, Umenez one day decided that I must be the secretary of these leagues. And I was 13 years old, and all way about dialogue now. So I was the youngest in the committee. Yet I him was set to so this thing you could see in the early stage, but without Mr. Malgas,
wonderful. Lux, the primary and then high school then we a month we are going to stage a month. Says if it's goal of Funde model C. Then they look umsanga open ndana ze shop ujonga le background yakho kakuhle nizonyuka nawe kakuhle.
No, but I mean, look, no, I mean, look, there was Wilson Mayeki, so there was Violets, did a little bit of time in Little Fontaine. So as long as those these are part of the schools I went to, and there was a brief period whereby as I sent the exchange student thing, as I was telling at the time with Islanem. So as long as the scholar is, but I matriculated Violets. I matriculated in Violets.
Okay.
That time. I think by the time the CMO, by the time the Kalufuna,
uyabonakala ufunde umncinci. Wena nibangaphi?
Yeah, look, if you ask that question, it's a tricky question. Kuba kaloku thina abantu asinazi cousin in our culture, you know. A lot of the people I was brought up with are my brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
So I have a huge family. I have biologically I might be the oldest one, but I've got abakhulu abam abakhoyo nabo who are part of me. Because you understand in all these parts of the world. I mean, now you include the Mandambo family, the September family, the Sotomela family, Verona, Dean, and other people. So zonke as well. So and by the time by the time ukula, you always introduce them as such. So I've got a huge family. Kodwa ngoku njengoba I mean ndiye ndikhula kakhulu namanye abantu abaninzi abafuna community yam endizalana nabo ngabantu akwethu naodadewethu and so on. So I've got a huge family.
We pick out the question kakhulu akunabakho nakhalaza uba hey ulasa okwaba kukheva kasasazi.
Akasasibali ngoku.
And then tertiary, where did you go for tertiary education, and what kind of studies did you do for?
So you know mna akokuqala before ndenza disclaimer yokubana lento ndiyenzayo ngoku is not necessarily into endiyifundele ndisise tertiary. Ndandifuna ubaligqwetha. As a result, I influenced a lot of the guys abazi lawyers and ndifuna nabesikolweni eMonti at the time. Kwazothi ngemini yami yokugqibela esikolweni, my last day in St. Matric, uVerona Ledin called me to her house. Wehlala kule this house eMonti eChinza East. So I went there to her house. When ndifika pha athi kum, you know what? I know nokubana ufuna ukwenza law, but can I persuade you not to do law? You'll be good as a lawyer, but there's something else you'll be better with. Because good with languages. Why don't you go and do media studies and ethics? Go and do londo leyo, and I guarantee you uzaba successful.
Ngicela ukume kancinci ke la ukho kancinci njene ukho uSorino wasemsesiwe kaGebane uthi doc loo ndoda leyo ngenye yabantu abandincedileyo ukuze kube kanti ndikule ndawo kuyo ngoku. We met in 1998 eBiolets. Since then, sisabambene. After high school, ubomi buye bandijikela wandincakamela ndathi ndabuyela esikolweni kuhlobo kwangubrother lo. So those are nice and kind words. I didn't want to skip this comment. I wanted to hear. Sorry to interrupt you. Sosorino was that's very inspirational. You've made a serious difference, impact on a number of people.
Ngabona abantu bazi-heroes zami abayana abantu whereby kuthiwe umuntu oba-rightwe off ngabantu abathini. You know lamfana indlela ayi-turn around ngayo ubomi bakhe benza ndibe emotional kakhulu. I mean ayo credit yami leyo, but all I did mna was ubana every time ndiye kuye ndisoko ndimpusha qha, but indlela ayi-turn ngayo around ngabona abantu kwi-communities ekufuneka bezi-role models so ndiyabulela kakhulu Brian, and I'm very proud. You have no idea every time ndibona wena ndiba proud kakhulu, ndiyazingca kakhulu. Ungayeki esikolweni ngetship ugqitha ungafumani i-degree 1 ufana nodoc, you know. So I don't know what I did that doc, but I studied Walter Sisulu.
Also pursue a law, but then you were convinced otherwise.
Yes. So I went then the bigger Walter Sisulu, my first school, my first undergrad, I said Walter Sisulu. Ndofunde Walter Sisulu.
Yeah.
Ndaqala khona ndafunda khona nditheke mna ke ndiseku first year ke doc. Mna zonke ndizenze eni mna doc ebomini. 16 ke ngoko doc. Abantu bengayazi kodwa ngoku. I was young. I was 16 years old or so.
Who's a tertiary?
I was 16 and a half. Dissertation.
Utata principal. John, u16 kalo u16 mna thi standard 7 kulo age sezaya when usettertiary utata principal fundini.
I was 16 and a half. I was 16 and a half tertiary. Ndithe ndisaqala esikolweni my first year. And remember, esikolweni sami was active. Mna kwakuyicommittee eziyi-15 esikolweni sami abantu bayazi, and I was a member of 14 of them. I-1 icommittee ezanda electoral kuyo esikolweni sami yayile student Christian organization abendikwaya phayana, but everyone else elected me to serve in their committee esikolweni except this one committee. So because of these committees, I had met a lot of people through Mr. Malkas and Trevor Shaw and other people about the Toastmasters, but also I got exposed early because it is special to come to a school and say for whatever thing and the other. You know, Mr. Malkas used to make me to be the one who addresses them on some things. Now, when I was doing my first year, cut a long story short, it dispatch gave me a 2 weeks job. 2 weeks job. Now, on the second week, they said, do you mind buhlala inyanga? After inyanga, but do you mind if every time we school in Ungazap? So mna esikolweni i-parents zami zigqibele undibhatalela isikolo ku first year. After that ndizenzele yonke into ndiphangela kuwanjoko ndithenga la ndigraduate ngayo my first degree, my first qualification ndaya kwi-graduation ngixuba imoto yami endiyithenge brand new, and then I was 19. I was 19 years old, and I was already working full time because esikolweni mhlambe ngo ndandise khamkhamanyana ke back in the days. So by the time this about the third year, there was such a little bit of a demand for the services from a few other places like Johnny Communication, Nabo Touchline, and others. Johnny, which is dispatch, made sure they give me a big contract. 19 years old, so which was not necessarily the best thing at that time because they had to miss inhloko yami nonto le little bit.
Ngel xesha ufumana le offer ka dispatch, were you doing anything to do with journalism?
Yes, I was studying media studies at I was studying media studies, and the funny thing is that at the time Walter Sisulu had a publication here, but in the Griselda Lewis actually SABC was the editor. And I just didn't really care about I was young, first year, and I jumped everyone, leapfrogged everyone. I was the first student from first year to be brought in at dispatch, sit there. My whole tertiary actually full time. So you can see, if many had started from zonke figures. As a result, clear down the Zanda apply for a job. I mean, at dispatch, the 7th in that quarter, I was 22. That's when I quit media world. I got fired.
What quarter? Not disciplined, man. What did?
And my mail. And my mail. Look, you must think that when dinner 22, doc, I had won. I had done some things that already at 22, I had won many awards, including Vodacom. What was the Vodacom Journalist of the Year award at the time? Doesn't mean is Landelelana, and I was 22 years old, and I was making a little bit of money, and I just bought a house. But there was a friction in I with a couple of people. There were things that were happening at the time. It was Senzeka, and then this Bonoman was right. And me being me, I stand up, and I'm young. So to be fair, dispatch, they gave me a chance to apologize with this person and I who was older than me, or to be fired. And I said, do what you need to do. So I got fired, but no. Instead, email. Instead, got email at Odisai. I mean, they gave me a chance to write an email because I was asked people to go and write an email at Odisai. Instead, of email, and you don't want to know what was there. Some of guys story. And I got fired. Now, who was the best thing that could have happened to me. Now you can imagine I'm 22, I've got a house, I've just bought a new house at that time, and I've got the motor, and I've got a lot to lose. So to be fired, Amanda means we'll be so scared. But the best thing was to get fired because all of a sudden I had to reinvent myself. I'm 22, and I've got this success that has just happened overnight. Not overnight, it is, the last 4 years.
Yeah,
and now yeah, exactly. So I got a call the day after I got fired. I got a call from a guy called Richard Maguire, who I said is Rob Moore agent, Penny McCarthy. And he says to me, I heard you got fired. Your boss told me you got fired yesterday. So we are laughing. I'm at the gym. So he's like, you are such an idiot. So he says, do you want to come work for us? This is the day after I got fired. I was at the gym in Monte Beachfront. And he said, I said, no, Richard, not yet. Give me time to think, man. I need time.
Yeah.
To think. Not interested to come and work for you. At that time, I was doing some stuff for True FM as well. So I was doing a little bit of things for other people. So Richard called me again.
So you did a bit of radio also?
I did a lot of stuff for free most of the time. One of the things about who don't actually understand about me is that I worked between 16, 17, 18, outside dispatch. I was doing everything for everyone for free before I turned 22. I met a guy called Velile Nyandu that everyone knows, Macarena. And this old was a little bit older than me, but the guy was crazy. He was like obsessed with this thing. And I met about Lou, about Pasta, and all those guys. What they didn't know back then was that I was doing all that stuff for free, but exposing myself, getting mileage. And I was young, so I didn't need money. So I didn't need, and before I had a car, I would walk to these places. I met Usturu Pasia before I used to go to Mtata to cover bushbacks. And he kick off and battle 50 rand. We am Mtata 40 rand to hike. So he profit 10 rand all the time. Now if he pushbacks, Usturu will give me and Macarena a lift back. But if he pushbacks, we are on our own. So So what people don't know is that in my early years, nonsense for people for free. I was be it in my school, everywhere. I was doing everything for everyone for free. Now, Richard Maguire, after giving up on ever signing me, because he called me a few times in my period of being fired, and phone, he happens because you know Rob Moore internationally. And remember, I met Richard once about me. So Richard Maguire says, "God, I'm on the FIFA, but we need someone, man, from either South America or Africa." Remember, if FIFA is African, since our World Cup a few years later. But we need someone, man, who's either African.
2010.
2010. To Richard, I'm describing him. And remember, Richard Stibene once a moment, and he knows so many people in South Africa. Richard was one, actually in the whole Africa. So Richard, according to him, or according to what happened later, mentions my name, Kawaban. But I've got this kid who's bright, who's a down team. Do you want to try him out? And a few days later, I'd never received a call from Europe. I got a call from FIFA. That changed my life. I was 23 years old. I was 23 years old.
23 years old. FIFA from only once.
Once. And this person was everyone in football in Africa. That's when they talk about unmerited favor. I want to go unmerited favor. I can owe instead reasons to be upset with him because I'm from Sebenze.
Unmerited favor. I like your language.
So and FIFA said, and I'd never met anyone from FIFA. Remember, Madam means, but if Neke Pauline was Undotile,
connection was and so on.
Zang connection in my life. I got a call from FIFA, and then they said, "Do you want a job at FIFA? Send us a CV." And I said, "I'm not CV. I don't have a CV."
Oh no, don't see.
I'm planned. So I had to write something, a document. I was at the airport, and I read this thing. 2 weeks later, I was in Zurich, and I was offered a job as the first African to work for the corporate affairs division as a FIFA. And I didn't know anyone. I didn't know the language. I didn't know people, and I'd never met Uplata. I'd only seen him at TV and from a distance, because the dream in life was just to watch the Soweto Derby live. So obviously, I liked these guys. I followed. I was involved in sport, reporting in sport, and then I remember the day I joined FIFA. my then boss, a guy called Rodrigo Muller. What you come and shake his hand? What, my boy, if you don't mess this thing up, you'll never be broke, Bominbag. I don't know. Let's give that a chance and see whether he was right or wrong.
That's very nice. I'm looking at some of these comments. Actually, this is very inspirational of people. Uthi umanyati manyati abantwana baseshop nabazityebi kaloku doctor babenyuselwa njengobathina sasiphindisa iklasi ka-20. Hayi bawunyuselwe nyani ngongekho kule ndawo kuyo. I like it. I like the fact that you are giving credit to where credit is due. You are actually a product of grace and favor. I mean, kukho abantu nje ababekho khona ezithile bomini into yoba nanke umuntu endaweni ethile go wake up that kid. Wena engathi ubuhamba ngomgca uthixo behamba nawe ngomgca.
But doc uyayazi into yokubana namhlanje ngo-2021 andinayo i-CV. Zange apply kumsebenzi. Hayi bomini bam. Zange ndaya ku-job interview. Experience ku-job interview kahle kahle. And I mean, I since joined the PSL where I served many years ago under Dr. Koza.
Wow,
and I became the first South African. So PSL, I was at FIFA for 6-7 years. And then Dr. Koza and his people had been stalking me for some time to come to the PSL and come to South Africa. And they were doing something. And this is the person I admired. Remember, So, cut a long story short, I joined them eventually. Altaf Kazi convinced me when Dr. Koza.
So you got recruited from FIFA by Dr. Koza. Yeah. I mean, how do you come back from such a high level, from FIFA back to PSL?
Yes, but I mean, I remember having a chat with Oprah Esnobo, who actually is one of the huge influences in my life at that time, you know. And Oprah Esnobo sat me down and said, listen, this is 2011, 2012. But he hasn't done, you need to reroute your career now. Because you're at the top of FIFA, come back, establish yourself. And that was one of the best advices because as near heroes, also Opudzola Dunyo, Sturupasia, Oprah Esnobo, these were my heroes growing up. So for him to give me that, to play a role, by the way, in getting me to the PSL, he played no small role at that time. So I was at the PSL, I worked my way up at PSL.
And then, money-wise, lads, who move from FIFA, the package was PSL, and your drop leg. Besides the credentials, besides the credentials financially, but because we met an offer.
You know, Doc, I've been lucky to imali. Imali becomes the last thing I negotiate on a band. I've been offered many jobs at Bomin Bam. And imali becomes literally the last conversation. And most of the time, maybe shortest conversation in night. Imali in the PSL was the last thing we discussed, literally, was the last thing we discussed after but I mean, but really, PSL is not a poor league, you know. that's all I want to say, you know, but they're not a poor league. I think about globally competitive. I mean, this league here, PSL, here's the league. This fashion, I think it's fashionable. We've gone through the days of not believing when I ask black people, but the PSL is the only business is successful. Billions of rands every year. Now, sibafundi xa bebuza nge-black excellence asithethe ngenyino sithi no jonga phala business iqalwe ngabo bayirana ngokwabo bayicontrola ayikho enye ibhizinesi eSouth Africa econtrola abantu abamnyama ngaphandle kwe-PSL ibhizinesi ayobhola ibhizinesi now to be part of flow story because ngoku I mean I've been lucky ayikho i-sport administrator ngazanadibana ebomini bam I mean in South Africa Dr. Koza, Dr. Jordan, Dr. Oliphant, they have a phone call away from me even today. Now, these are no longer my dreams. The dreams abanye abantu is because mna idream yami ngalo Transkei. Ibukela enimamela mna umthuthuzeli Scott nabanye umhlobo wonene uRadio Transkei naku Radio Xhosa. Now, my dream was just when ndibukele iSoweto Derby live. Now I got to work with Dr. Koza, Dr. Jordan, Dr. Oliphant, Sepp Blatter, now Tris Motsepe. I mean, from a boy, Esuka Transkei, and now I just made history by being the first South African since 1957. CAF was formed 1957. I became the first South African to ever work CAF 2021. Now,
take us through that.
Yeah.
You did a lot of work up and down with PSL until you got called at FIFA. What were you doing at PSL?
Yeah, like whenever I'm on PSL, I always say yes, because Vincent's are everything there. Look, the good thing of Dr. Koza, once ayazi into yokubana uyayazi into oyenzayo, kunike ispace to do. You know, sometimes abantu abaninzi don't realize, and so I don't need about imbongi yakhe. So I need to tell you this. I've met abantu abaninzi ebholeni. I mean, internationally, abantu base-Europe, abantu base-Asia, wherever. Akekho umuntu endidibene naye mna ohlakaniphe njengaye ebholeni endingadibana naye. Now, into endincedileyo usebenza naye, undinike i-exposure, wandibeka apha ecani kwakhe, wandinika i-exposure. Kukho le nto ngesilungu, andiyazi uba yintoni ngesiXhosa, kuthiwa i-borrowed social equity. Undinike yona, iyokubana yima apha ecani kwam ufunde, uba kwenziwa ntoni apha. As a result, PSL bendiku-jack of all trades, and master of none, maybe. And I know abantu abaninzi bebeshocked kakhulu umka kwam, including yena, because abantu abaninzi besithi hayibo umkanjani ubana you are just one step away from into ethile. And I said to one, no, his strength Sam is that mna I always reinvent. You must always reinvent yourself to align yourself by ujonge i-future iphina, because CAF bengayiplananga nam, bengaplananga CAF mna. Uxela inyani mna doc bendisiya eEurope, besendine-offer bendiya kuyo Europe ngomanje, bendine-offer besendiyigqibile yokubana ndizawumka eSouth Africa ndibheke eEurope. Now into yeCAF yagqitywa in 3 days, literally a phone call eze kum, and then I had to meet everyone to negotiate this exit, my clauses, my release clause to PSL and everyone else. In 2 days we had to agree and finalize this thing before CAF yenze ngoDisemba ndizawubheka ekhefini. Ndingahamba ndayilindela because mna into ebendiqonda ukubana koma ndiyayicinga into yeCAF, kodwa bendiqonda ukubana bazawundisa ndibe imanager, bazawundenza imanager. If ndiye eCAF ndizawufika ndibe imanager. No, one offer she had, Chineke. So I was like, how? You know, how did this happen? So I was shocked because I advertised the little role and I apply for you. Because I was in Negam, by Negam and Yabandu Moses do it. Now, come and phone Elabaticum, and phone return applying and do it till Jaibo, Ninabandu Benumos. I don't think, but no, you are the person. So that's how it happened, and everything. Negotiate and get 3 days. So that's what happened.
So what are you doing at FIFA now?
At CAF. At CAF.
Sorry.
So at CAF, the head of operations, and also I'm still looking after the media relations division. So the division has means is. So CAF in a department has means. So in the but departments, many managers are. Then as managers, the report as heads. As the heads, it was the head of business. So now run organization on a day-to-day basis. So he roll and he begin again because South Africa and South Africa give me a certain level. And whatever it is. And upon figure nobody again. And that's the best thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing, because in the nigga chance you I mean the Agwazo strategies allow to recognize I do what I want, and the chance and the opportunity you fund again. Because passion has never been money, has never been fame, has never been anything. I just wanted to be good. And good what I do. And the period in the Kuyo, it is tough. It's a tough period because I've never learned names in Google. I mean, I've never done operations, and the next thing, Abandabasi expects operations, but reporter home. So you can imagine the sleeping at the
But I'm so we are trying to catch up and so on, so that reports be off guard.
But names abantu abanetalente more than me, talk. But Mambalo and Bazi Abasemens are harder than me. Mna, I would have lost to even given an hour dogs, 7 seasons 1. and more talented than yes, look, if ulala ngo-10 mina ndilala ngo-12 okanye ngo-2 ekuseni every time.
That's wonderful. That's the discipline. That's the discipline that
and people know abantu abandaziyo bandazi kwasesikolweni. I never had a social life. Ndagqiba uphuma esikolweni because I've studied what does school nase-Wits University nakwezinye indawo. I never had a free time. And now you have free time, not dog. Today, can't go to Gile wherever, and now free time. Because I'm passionate about entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship was making this pillar. I'm passionate about the development of the community, I'm passionate about education. So I don't have free time.
That's wonderful. And I see you're doing a lot of work in the villages around Transkei and whatever. Have you got an NGO or how do you operate? I see you in dusty villages playing some soccer or watching kids playing soccer, which is actually and then I'm actually glad to Dr. Dibela and all the boys because they're the ones actually linked up with you, and I'm sure they will cry because they are Bashia Musentena Kiro can Bakalel no Bakalel. But Sibin, Konalano Gamza, what Gamza, Choman and home to the no Bombay, Choman. But they won't cry, they're my friends.
No, they're good friends of mine. They are good friends.
What are you doing in rural areas? I see you are doing a lot of up and down. Kweli Paisekile, playing Usas Kitty, Usentoni. From CAF to Mpunza. That's my village.
I think no, we must get involved. I think when I talk, in the end, the favor needs a bam. But I mean, the Kubuma talk is very short. But the Buya winter school. Diagle winter school is the Suge Montimos, Funde Montimos. So they come out and jam it on winter school. I was shocked. And I was like, Abandwana Balaba have no chance in life to pass. I mean, the higher grade. Because I'm not the Monte, see, the syllabus, go June, see, the syllabus into school, see, I revise the school in Bona. I was with chapter 3, chapter 4, and that thing touched me. And I knew in the one day, I had an opportunity. I have to get involved to solve izinto ezinjeyana, to give opportunities, because umntana usuka eTsomo naseNqamakwe naseMonti, not because uDom usuka ngapha ezilalini, but because of the exposure ndifika phandle be-heads above them, because of exposure, because of understanding. Exactly. So zaba iphatha computer school in mind ngoba isiko se-computer school in some yet bona zaba ibona icomputer ebomini bayo. So all those things. So I started a movement, IONPA movement, which is registered as an NPC, Ulwazi project. Through Ulwazi, we started Senza mobile libraries. Area education sport. Say Dibani's an sport because sensi tournaments go, but because Dibani's a career orientation. Sinika umntana confidence because talk. We left school. Wako ipondo bwana ungene ku boardroom nomuntu ongazinto but no confidence. Akubethe wena usasa.
Injalo lads. Yabona nje ziyangichukumisa yazi. Wena because of your background yakho, ischooling sakho, usonga izandla uyayazi lento but ufuna uqala uyidigest, uyenze mathunjini, uyithini, izophuma emlonyeni. But lo mntana ufunde kwi model school, even though we're empty, but because indlela articulate ngayo lento and so on, atsho then apho sasizama khona xa sekubhalwa uyobona ekubhala into bamani abantu abahamba apha uthembe ngathethi laa nto eklasini because besabonakala ekubhaleni iyandichukumisa le nto uyithethayo but ke continue.
Excellence. Ukuzithemba yenye into ebalulekileyo ebomini xa uzithembile, because thina ama-Afrika sesidelelwa nje kuba asizithembi. So I hope into yokubana true le nto abantu abaninzi bathi why ufaka isport kakhulu kulo ulwazi. And no, isport ikunika i-lessons of winning and losing. You get to understand ubomi ngendlela ethile. Ila xa utyiwe itimu yakho awuyeke uyisupporta la team inxa ibityiwe. You continue. So that's life as well. So sebenza lessons alapho. As a result, ngoDecember, doc kufuneka usondele kum. NgoDecember sine charity ride. So ndizawuza kubantu nanjengawe anempokoto ndithi hey, because sifuna ukwenza sifuna ukwakha i-resource center at Somo High.
God will bless me through what you've said. Just through what you've said. It means abantu abaninzi bazawugula zimpempe, abantu abaninzi bazawunida ii-services zam so that I'm able to support you, including you.
So we do these things with a couple of other board members, Bongiwe Sisela and other people, you know, the late Mbuleli Kolisi, Zamo, and other people. So organized because in this better was so organized, you know, so it's very organized, run this NPO. And through this NPO, we've done a lot of things since I know invest means are cool. The passionate in women's football as well, because the team says Lalin, prize Lalin play Thunderbirds. Because Indo Masiaka Lendo so see Twitter, see WhatsApp groups talk. No. Resources and time. If I'm not Mali, Fagitash. So you've got one of those two.
Yeah.
Exact, and more especially, so-called middle class now. The problem, man. See, problem. The ideas as needs the intellectuals as the pavement, but as if fucking Mali to no matter any community said to change.
A few comments last night because I want to dwell on this initiative. Is because it's rural areas and apho khona inideka. Just a few comments. Unomasango nama uDoc uchubekile lo bhodi banqabile abantu abanjengaye, and then uGabayi uthi powerful, then umchingana uthi okwazithemba eboardroom. So it means we were actually hitting i-problem yethu bayiphi na siqale siyihlafune into kakhulu. Then usihlali uthi nisikhumbuza back nowadays model C sasibabetha ebhaleni kwi-oral, hayi they were excelling ntanga kaloku i-history ayitishwa ngesixhosa kuthi. And then uphuphuma uthi yo, confidence goes a long way. I'm emotional when I think of my first year varsity nolali, ingqondo ikhona, i-confidence yokuthi ndibe vakarap was dololo, kodwa through i-resilience iyayiphuza ngoku i-confidence. And then uThando Rhubela, the last one, uthi confidence kodwa iyaseka lento okuzalula ezilalini nasesikolweni sasiphasa kukubhala ngokusebenzi sohlulwa kokuthetha. So ezinto zithethayo abanyani xa usuka eMonti ufika lento wawuyibona, le symptom afika wayibona, into enjalo nyani bayayingqina abantu. Njengoba nam ndiyingqina ndithi undenzela umsindo xa uthetha ngaloo nto leyo, because I felt into yoba le nto ikhona mana apha engqondweni, but ndizawuthatha ixesha because ndicale ndiyicinge ngesixhosa. Sebekude umodeli sebemke nayo sawudibana ephepheni.
Uyiluzile isport elo xesha elo. I'm 100% convinced mnaqala into yokubana if bendifunde eTranskei ndakhulela eTranskei, I had no chance ebomini. No chance, Doc. No chance. Because ngoku xa ndingena kwi-boardroom umntu endidelela ndiyakwazi ukumsha back kuye ndimdelele back. But xa ungena confidence noba usmart, awukwazi into confront abantu about the things. That's why a lot of people die of depression. They die inside because abana confidence.
Yazi lento but lapha kuphakathi uhamba uyolala ufrustrated yile nto uyaziyo and uyazi ngaphezulu kwalo mntu ungxabana ngayo.
Lo mntu ulecturesha ngayo uyazi ngaphezulu kwakhe yet yena une-confidence. Have you ever been lectured by a C student or a student? Be frustrated. Oh, hayi man. He's a student, you know. So I hope nokubana true ulwazi, because and you understand le nto yethu bana bamnyama thina sithi sawufika ezindaweni siphathe sibe right silibala apho sisuka khona. Mna ke Doc ndicinge le nto qho into yokubana baninzi abantu abafuna le nto ndiyifumeneyo, ndingayibanceda njani na? Kaloku xa ndifaka leli benyuka abanye abantu, into endiyibonileyo apha xa ndinceda abanye abantu xa befika ezindaweni bafike bancede. One of the guys ebepusha for uba ndize CAF ngoku apha eCAF yayingumntu endandidibene naye ndisasebenza eFIFA. Bebenqabelana abamnyama at that time eFIFA, nadibana le chap imnyama le chap. Yathi kuwe izapho ndizakufundisa ndizakubonisa uba kwenziwa ntoni apha. You know, and when he went to be in a position of power eCAF, omnye wabona acinge ngabo ngulaa mfana 10 years ago
wadibene naye eFIFA. Hey, that is one thing that is killing us amnyama, yazi. Endaweni yoba umuntu avela acinga uba ndadibana nelight emnyama egodi kule nto, umuntu uvela acinga opposite into yoba how can I destroy?
That's it. So mna omnye wabantu abaresponsible belapha yichap endandidibene naye Anthony before yathi abelungu beyimosha ncinci ayibize ecaleni ndathi ndizakufundisa uba kwenziwa njani apha. Now many years later this guy has played it backwards. Nam ke ndiye ndiqonde yokubana ndine-responsibility. Ndibe nelakhi yakhulu andikenzi into kamnakedoka ebomini because mna ezam igozi ngoku njengoba idream yam ngona ndikhula yayikuba ndibukele iSoweto Derby live. Ndifumene ii-dreams zabanye abantu ngoku sendiphethe amaphupha abanye abantu ngoku. La maphupha abanye abantu ke la maphupha ndiwaphetheyo ngoku ayandoyikisa nam xa ndileyo. Actually awandilaleli. Baye bathi abantu abaninzi xa bendiqhwabela ndithi no yimani apha ekhaya, you know, my parents ngoda ndifumene that job yalapha eCAF, hey, you know, masenze into no yimani ningenzi into yet because ndiyibonile ndihleli phezu kwamagqa eGiants, ndibonile nokubana indlela iphina kude apho ndisaya khona. So ayathi amangesi, don't celebrate because the best is yet to come.
That's nice. Uphumza Vitu uthi Lux is intelligent and smart, very strategic in moves zakhe. Well done, Boti. And then Uviki Siyoyo uthi you wathetha inyani Boti. Abanye bayilibala imvelaphi once baphumelela. So this is a thumbs up to you for ujonga kwakho.
I think Doc lento ye-development, ye-rural development siyayithanda thina uyifaka kwinto karhulumente. Bendithetha namanye abafana bapha elalini yam ngoku into yokubana masifake imali, sidibaniseni imali, senze ipark, sakhe ipark. Ndithetha nabafana bakwaNkwenkwezi ithi, you know gents, masifakeni imali, asizulinda urhulumente, masakhe i-recreation center apha elalini yethu for abantwana balapha elalini yethu. Asizulinda urhulumente siyenze. So le so-called middle class ndiyayiqonda uba sinezi-struggles ezininzi. Make sithathe noba yi-500 rand ibeke ecaleni udibanise nabanye abantu apha elalini nakhe something pha elalini yethu. Na abelungu benza loo nto leyo, ndiya-understand ukubana bane-responsibilities less than us, but badevelop ii-communities zabo. Ungayodevelopha apho uhlala khona Doc, apho uhlala khona uhlele belungwini, abafuna i-development apho uhlala khona Doc,
zifunela emakhaya.
Exactly. So that is one thing mna and pusha as a result uba ndigodukile mna sozofana ndibona ndisekhaya ndizula apha esithubeni ndisendaweni ethile ndiyobona umntu ethile ndiyoraise imali. That's what I do.
That's nice. I see your movement. That's why I've been following you. As much as mna ndiyakulandela for ezam izizathu, wena undilandelela ntoni?
Umhlozayo.
Mna nje ndikulandelela le misebenzi emihle oyenzayo.
Uyazi Doc apha ebomini enye into funeka ungayoyiki emhlabeni, funeka ucinge into yokubana njengoba ndingumntu omntu ndinguye nje, it's like now mna I surround myself abantu abaneskill endingenasongo mos, uyabona, abantu abaziyo ndingayazi. Andikho afraid mna usurround abantu abaclever kunam because ndiyayazi nosoba bazandinceda all the time. So even ndidibene nawe ndiyayiqonda le ndoda noba ikandincedi ngoku ikhona enye imini ezandinceda ngayo.
That's why I'm inspired. Undichazeke xa uvumayo into yoba uzanditsha uthi awufuni undiphoxa, awufuni undiphoxa because usezandidinga ebomini. Lux is a wonderful guy, man. Thanks a lot. And I'm just checking some of the comments. And then le NP ulwazi nijonge phi nayo? Ni focus ngamakho naseTsomo okanye all villages around. What is the intention?
You know, I mean, it's emotional in the COVID. You know, the 2019 doc, Sibeku involved with school of the 36. You know, Elliot, Duchwa, Kachane, Trentane, zonke izindawo zangapha eTranskei. Ebese involved kuzo. Kodwa kasiphelela ngapha. Sinesikolo ezisemdantsane esine-relationship nazo. I mean, bendidibana nenye imini. Actually, you know, kwenye ezihoxo zam, because ndiyayithanda i-entrepreneurship. I started, me and my friends started 1 or 2 businesses. Omnye wabantwana actually who works for one of the businesses is a graduate of this program high school end many years ago.
Wonderful.
So even xa ndimbonayo ndimjongile i-confidence yakhe, it gives me so much, indinika into affirmation yokubana because le nto sayiqala emdantsane with izikolo zasemdantsane, so andikwasemonti mos kodwa ke abantu basemonti ndiyaba mos bandifundisile. So so siyenza as an Eastern Cape thing. You know, because of this thing about 3-4 years ago, and then they appointed Minister of Education, njengomnye we-ambassadors zakhe in education, in literature, in reading. Nangoku ndimke nje kule board kuba ngoku ndihlala eSouth Africa, bendihlala kuloo board leyo of Minister Enje Motshekga, whereby sinika input nge-direction yokubana zizinto ezindinika ukuneliseka kakhulu, because umakhulu wam notamkhulu wam ebeyithanda kakhulu into imfundo.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And then I've met you ndidibene nawe kakhulu kwezi WSU alumni chapters. Are you playing an active role there as a WSU alumni, noting in Doba, WSU is one of the most disadvantaged universities, and I've seen you in mostly strategic leadership seminars and meetings and so on. You
know, into ye-leadership, because yonke into yobunkokheli, no, bendikhe ndabheka eDubai the other day, ndabona xa ndijonge phayana ndiqomba isentlango apha, kodwa aba bantu bakhe-Oasis indixela into yokubana i-leadership yinto yonke oyifunayo ebomini. Uyayazi into yokubana xa sinomntu onjengoThembeka, umntu onjengoThembeka othi xa ke-adressa ngee-issues akunika i-confidence ukubana ndingayilandela le chap mos. Not only yayilandela le chap, xa ndikhokele le chap singa-achieve into ezininzi mos. So i-leadership yabantu abanjengaye, you know, zonke labantu bakwi-convocation basinike i-confidence yokubana abantu abathile basondele bakhe le university bayifunayo. Uyayibona ke le nto, if mhlawumbi ukhokhelwa ngabantu abangenamkhondo, uve uqonda ubana awukwazi nosondela ngabantu abanjalo. So phaa kwi-WSU, through leadership kaThembeka, Advocate Mukaitobi, and of course the entire convocation, bakwazile usondeza phaa. Babuza into yokubana amadoda, instead of mani bhala ko-Facebook nicomplaina ngale university, makhe sitshintsheni i-history yabantu abamnyama, makhe sitshintsheni i-history yethu thina ngokulungisa emakhaya. So ndidlala ke indima encinci kakhulu whenever upresident, laa ndoda ke ayikubuzi, iyakuxelela, ufumana imessage, I'm sure uyayazi.
Ubelapha ke message tebelele wazenzela ithile endaweni ethile.
I think uyayazi wena into yokuba laa ndoda leyana
sebenze kakhulu naye.
ayibhali imessage
kule nto uyithethayo ke nam ndithanda usarawundwa ngabantu abantu abachubekileyo, abantu abangayilibali imvelaphi yabo, abantu abakwaziyo uinvesta in a black chart. Sinento nathi ezininzi esizenzayo ezilalini, hence ndisithi I got very much interested because some of the things ozenzayo ziyangqamana nathi, plus ke ngoku i-achievements zakho xa ndijonge i-age yakho still a handsome young guy. Are you married?
You know, let me tell you something. Madiba taught us something. Let me tell you. No. Let me tell you something. You know, one of the reasons, one of the things, and that kaningena ebholeni, and unfortunately because of abantu endibana nabo, enye izinto endizifundisiweyo into yokubana funeka ugcine clear lines between your personal life and your professional life, and that's what I do, and I never discuss my personal life.
So you are not going to say whether you are married or not. There's about comments, abantu comments about you akasefiti
No need. I'm covered. I think I always do this to protect my own space, because in my life, it's like if someone, for example, my son wants to take a picture, I say no social media, nothing of that, because I took a decision. Yeah, man, I protect my own space. I chose alone to be in this space, and as a result, it must only be me who suffers whatever consequences, not whoever, be my partner or my children or whatever it is. About those spaces, yeah.
Wonderful. Yeyiphi team oyifavorayo apha ku-PSL?
Iyafana la question kubonbuza yona.
No, ayithethi nyani. Yeyiphi team yakho eSouth Africa?
Iyafana la question ubonbuza yona ngoku. Look, I'll tell you what. Ibhola into okudala iyithanda kakhulu. Isport actually, not just ibhola, irugby, cricket, cycling, swimming, zonke zinto zenzile, surfing, zenze zonke. But because of the position that I hold ebholeni, andikwazi, I think it's unfair uba ndixelela abantu uba ndisapota ubani andisapota ubani. Ngoku wonke umntu ndiyamsapota. Kwesi ngoku it's one of the things I can never discuss.
Okay, Masiseko, unyana uthanda yiphi team?
Hey, and when I am here too, you know, he has get talk. Kaloku, you know, we are not responsible for the choices. No. When he's ready, nega ibe nguye okwaziyo uzichaza uba usupport iphi team. So
Iskipha nazo siseyiphi team?
Kaloku abantwana bathanda ii-colors. So mhlawumbi umuntu ubone iteam, wabona i-success, wabona ii-colors, andiyazi. So he's got a team.
So unenyana ene-colors ezingathi zinomtsalane ezi-bright e-successful. So abantwana bayathanda uyamanisa nento ezi-successful.
No, but into endiyaziyo inye, you know, sikhula si-influencer mhlawumbi ngabantu aba-successful, ngabantu nezinto ezi-successful around that time. Abantwana abanjalo andizukwazi mna kunqanda ichep ndizathi hey Fondini, you know, xa isithi kum hey ndifuna isikipha setim ethile, umsebenzi wam kumthengela. So laa nto leyo akayiba
umthengele isikipha seyiphi team ke? Ndiyayithanda loo nto leyo because sifuna abantwana aba-cultured nabantwana abadet nabazi-associata with winning mentality nento ene-success phakathi. So unyana wafuna isikipha, wamthengela isikipha seyiphi team?
No, but into noyichaza noba yiteam ese-South Africa. Inoba yeyiphi na laa ndoda mayizidedelele, you know.
I meet him one day. Because
I'm sure. And then you can ask him.
Ezinye izinto zasifana phaa kuwe that describe you further. I know into yoba zonke iitim zase-South Africa zezakho, but honestly speaking ikho team ethe nca kuwe entliziyweni. Mhlawumbi uba ivelanga kuwe ngale ndlela ivela ngayo iyavela phaa kunyana uba
ayakwazi ubunyana sapote, uyakwazi wena usapota ukhulu usapota i-Dynamos, unyana usapota i-Bushbucks. It's possible le into yona dog. So I think, you know, and come back into democracy.
Ukhona umuntu ongayiphendula le nto apha Lux, bayithathela kubo le.
Anganimoshi. It depends.
Uthi Udani, I like the way you are responding to the questions about your pet life. That is brilliant. And then Ukhalo uthi Lux is Sundowns. And then dog, we know him. He supports Mamelodi Sundowns. So ndinento ethi nana unesikipha se-Sundowns.
Hayi ndiyatyhola mna dog, you know mna ndiyatyhola dog, and fanele uzuvuma ndityholwe apha kule page yakho ibaluleke kangaka, ibalulekile, ihloniphekileyo.
Lux, xa sizawuvala man, you doing we are very proud of you. We are very proud. Sinegugu, sineqhayiya ngawe ngakumbi kule nyanga amagugu. I'm very honored as Aphile Communications to have a person of your caliber. You could be young in stature, but in terms of your achievements, in terms of your influence, in terms of your impact, in terms of what you have done for us, the province, as a country, and now umele continent Africa, CAF, that is a very huge achievement, especially for intwana esuka bengama ebingavuki cereal. I know umntana sevini, but intsoko luyazana nayo ayibaliselwanga. That is why you are able to relate with poverty. And sayithanda kakhulu into yenzayo, and look at the comments zabantu. You are very passionate about what you're doing, and one thing we are pursuing, we are not pursuing money, you are pursuing contentment. Wenele into yenzayo and ube happy kakhulu into yenzayo. What can you say to the rest of the people that are watching you today and to us as a continent? I know you are traveling all over Africa, 54 countries. You are a very busy guy. Mhlambi kube nzima ngoba impembe iphakame. That is why uyindela le page kakhulu. What can you say to our people?
Look, oqala Doc, I must say into yokubana proud kakhulu associate nabantu njengawe, you know, bodibela boboys nabanye, because abantu be-generation yethu leyo aba-progressive. Ingaske ke sifunde i-culture yokubana we must compete, because funa sikhompithile mos, so that we can push each other. Silang no Ronaldo no Messi, but cooperate, compete, cooperate. Ndiyayithanda ke le nto yokubana abantu bale generation yethu abane-mentality enjalo, bhuti abothembeka nabanye. We know each other, and the next step into yokubana we'll have to do izinto together. And ndiyayiappreciate kakhulu le nto uyenzayo, kwaye ke ndiyayiqonda ukubana on Sunday you could be relaxing nefamily yakho after iveke busy surgery and so on, but ubonisa abantu into yokubana if une-degree engineering khawufunde esinye iskill, yazi enye into, uyazi into yokubana ngemini evale ngayo laa tap unayo intep evulekileyo. That's why mna ndithanda i-entrepreneurship, because noba bangandigxotha ebholeni, ebholeni mosihlele ngemfundo eyi-1 ungagxothwa nanini na. So into ebalulekileyo kuye kuthiwe ngesilungu funeka ube yi-master of your own destiny. That's what I believe in. That's why xa bendinike i-choice, babendinika i-choice na-22 yokubana apologize or get fired, ndenza i-decision then into yokubana nobody will ever put igun entlokweni yam. I'm the master of destiny yam. Now xa usithi ngokuza i-master of destiny yakho funeka uyazi uba kwi-consequences, because uzawugxothwa ngabantu kwikhampani zakho, baza kugxotha iintweni zakho. Funeka ufunde i-discipline. Oqala i-discipline ke ne-respect into ezimbini ezi-different. You know, i-respect is important, it's fine, whatever, but discipline, what to do when. And you're saying ukhula kwam ndikhule ndimosha ngabantu, but mna ungasoze undibone ilixesha lomsebenzi lesikolo endaweni ethile. And everyone ufunde nam from high school to tertiary and nakwezinye university bayayazi into yokubana mna I don't sleep andilali. So if you've got dreams, I mean, abantu would look at me now, what the chap is a CAF, has done all these things, has worked with all these people, you know, complacent. No, even now, I mean, I slept at 2 a.m. Today I woke up at 6:30 because the work ethic has to be fanatical. Akekho umuntu must look at you acinge fanele ukubana outclass and work ethic. Now at my age, because this nige target mozam ukubana at a certain age this is what I will do. So every time this ends into, I'm never impressed with when they achieve there. That's why I don't like doing interviews about myself, because I don't want to ever wake up and think we want the important. The fact that now I have direct access to all the most powerful people, the baller in the whole world. I can call anyone I want a bully in Namhlanje, and they will answer me. If in South Africa today I want to talk to anyone, I will do it. But you must never be impressed with on earth. Hunger, physical hunger, but also curiosity. My grandmother. So what I would like to say about doing in Dokbana, at the time, the issue of violence of men in our country. Goodness me, something is wrong, something is missing, and the icon man, you can't just say, nah, I don't abuse anyone, I don't hit anyone, I don't kill anyone, therefore. No, it's us. So we have to feel strong. Because if you are not guilty doing it physically, complicit, you keeping quiet, or and all. Now we have to stop. We have to address these societal issues. We have to change work ethic yet in our generation. Okwesithathu funeka sisebenzisane, cooperation generation yethu. Okwesine, and more importantly, we must choose the right leaders in our generation. Leadership has shown convocation, having the right guy leading you, but having the confidence in one guy leading you. That's all that we need. If we fix those 4, I'm telling you, as the
ndiyafuna uthetha nala guy ke bendithetha nayo izolo ithi no bofumene uLux nonjengele, you are sorted.
No. He must do it. He has to, because he instructs people. Now he instructs him, you know.
Ndawuthiwa wena ke ndithuma wena undithethele naye. You must command him. Uba uAphile Communications. Uba ubuya wena so uzabuya naye. We are very grateful to you. We are very honored as Aphile Communications you for this hour and a half. A lot of people I'm sure at your spare time you'll go through the comments, you'll see how much inspiration you are. A lot of people are encouraged. Ungumlumiso omhle usuka engqamakho eTsomo uya eMonti uphinda utyale back ezilalini ukuya ku PSL uya ku FIFA. Now you are at CAF. Uphakamise iflag of South Africa wayibeka kwelinye izinga. You are the first person to be appointed kule ndawo, especially South Africa. There's kind of an attitude towards CAF. CAF is focusing. I want to be honest with you. We have been so angry about into Central Africa and whatever. Anything that is SADC, I funa no bono, but SADC, we've got to president we CAF and then siphinde sibe nawe all at once. Ingathi wa answer and sinethemba lentoba the experience that we've gained on the way and nokubetheka nokunxitheka kwezindawo kuzaba ngumlumiso nevelu esinceda kakhulu to advance sport. And I hope and wish intoba you'll return to FIFA a better police diamond, because from Cape it means we are go FIFA. There is no way back. We are very proud of you, son of the soil. Ungalibali ke xa ubuyile sikhona, siyathanda lo msebenzi wenza ezilalini kakhulu. You are doing a tremendous job. On top all the achievements onazo, lando ithi thina singabantu beBhayibhile ke thithi you are blessed to be a blessing. Utsikelele ukuze ube intsikelelo ebantwini abaninzi. Ngalo mazwi singu-Aphile Communications, we are very honored and humbled by your presence in our platform. Continue following and liking Aphile Communications because izokunceda khawuvalelise kubantu bekulandela namhlanje.
No, ndiyabulela kakhulu. Ngicela uthathe lithuba oqala ndibulele kuwe Doc, ngibulele nakubantu babebukele apha le conversation. Ndithathe sithi ke Doc, le nto yenzayo, le platform unayo is very important, ibaluleke kakhulu ekutshintsheni i-mindset yabantu bakuthi eMzantsi Afrika nabantu bakuthi njengoba kwaXhosa, kodwa ke nabantu bakuthi nje sisisintu. Ndiyayiqonda ke ndinethemba lokubana abantu abanjengoThembeka nabanye bazawaza bathethe ngobomi babo, so that ba-inspire abanye abantu boma basecala nabasengcobo nakwezinye indawo babone kubi into yokubana nathi siyakwazi ukwenza le nto leyo. So ndiyayibulela le nto Doc, and namhlanje ke ukuthi ku-Monday, so ndibuyele emsebenzini after this.
Thank you so much, Lux. Thank you so much. Kuni nonke ninabe nibukele in all platforms. We are very grateful to you. Please like and follow our page and also our YouTube channel. Bethana noluxolo kaSeptember uzotsho intwana le yalapha engqamakwe. Ingqamakwe yasuka engqamakwe yaye kwezikolo ndimazela ke as an alumni ze-WSU sidibana kwi-levels nge-levels leadership kuba sizama utshintsha. He is so blessed. He is such an inspiration. Uphangele kwa PSL for a number of years elubhola yethu, uphangele kwa FIFA ngoku usimele phaya kulanda ukuthiwa yi-Confederation of African Football. Siyabulela kakhulu uba nomntu onjengawe, and ndiyaqala uthetha nomntu ngaka osejiphuta eCairo. Ndiyayibulela kakhulu lo mbeko kakhulu imbeko nenzele yona. Ndithetha nomntu oseCairo such a long time. Thank you so much. Ingake lamandla unawo angaphelele apha, but uyazi into yoba utshilo kamnandi wathi it's not only for you. This is for all of us. Thank you so much.
Nangomso, Doc. Ndakunceda.
Thank you.